Welcome again. I hope you had a strong coffee. It's not Italian one, but I know the Turkish coffee is very nice as well. So, what I have to click here? Yep. Just to make it bigger, I want to make it bigger too. Probably. Okay. Okay, does it work? Yes. Okay. So I will give you an insight on what Italy is doing right now to develop a circular economy strategy, which are the pillars, which are the main documents and the main financial measures in place now or in the near future. So we can start from some data at European level that can be found in the Circularity Gap report. There is a report 2021. The projection is that in a business as usual scenario in 2050, we will consume around 784 gigatons of materials every year. In the years from 2015 to 2021, we had a steep increase of the consumption of materials, and in the same period, the global circularity rate has dropped from 9.1 to 8.6%. So there is a steep increase of the quantity of materials that will be consumed in the next years. If we speak about Italy, every, I think, 2 years, there is a report on circular economy in Italy issued on using the Bellagio Charter, that is a European system to monitor the circular economy, and the performance of circularity of Italy is compared to, I think, the 4th main European countries like France, Germany, UK has been replaced, I think, by Poland. What does this report say in terms of material? Italy imports metals, fossil fuel, biomass and minerals. We perfectly know in this time of war that our level of imported fossil fuel is 72% of the total used. Metals, we had a steep increase compared to 2020 of importation, 76%. In general, raw material, imports of raw material in Italy is quite consistent and is following the trend of GDP. We already have seen which are the measures in the Circular Economy Action Plan, also the last package issue, so I can skip this part. And we have already seen into the details. Oh, it's not going on? We have already seen, oh, just 1 second so we can catch up with the slides. Okay, this was the, can you come back please? The data related to, I can go, okay. These are the data related to the importation in Italy of metals, mineral and fossil fuels. So for sure, importation of materials in Italy is an issue, is quite a problem to be tackled. And we have already seen which are the actions foreseen in the Circular Economy Action Plan, the last package, and the goals of the plan related to make sustainable products, focus on a particular sector. This has been already highlighted in the previous presentation. Let's see what Italy is doing, which is the current strategy of Italy. We can identify at least 4 pillars. The first one is the recovery and resilience plan. You know that Italy had the major slice of the cake with a lot of money, and with 60 billion of euros for green revolution and ecological transition. Under the umbrella of the Recovery and Resilience Plan, we have other strategic documents: the National Strategy for Circular Economy, the National Program for Waste Management, and the National Program for Waste Prevention. In addition to these documents, we also are supporting businesses with some financial measures, and we have also implemented and transposed the revision of the waste directives in the Italian legislation system. So we have also some waste legislation measures. It didn't go. Okay. Oh, sorry, there is a... Okay. So the Recovery and Resilience Plan, as far as the mission related to circular economy, foresees a chapter for investments and a chapter for reforms that are mainly focused on the circular economy area, so mainly related to of course waste management, but also to all the part related to prevention. And the plan also foresees to do some reforms in order to also create the background for all these initiatives. So the mission related to circular economy is worth 2.1 billion of euros. Investments are related to the construction of new waste management plants and also to the modernization of the existing plants. Investment are also financing flagship projects on circular economy. We will see into the details. And as far as reforms are concerned, what the resilience plan is indicating is to revise or create by new a national strategy for circular economy. We have a revision because we already had one in 2017. A national program for waste management is also envisaged, and reforms also imply to give technical supports to local authorities. Where the money of the investment is going, and why we are putting money for investment in recycling installation. First of all, there is a lack of infrastructure for recycling. We have we don't have a lack of installation related to municipal waste, more or less, because we had a network created in the past with European funds years ago. We have a lack of recycling installation, final recycling installation for plastic. Well, probably for paper it's not a problem because we are also exporting, but for plastic, for electronics and so on, there is a lack of infrastructure, and there is a big gap between the situation of infrastructure in the north of Italy with the south of Italy. So there is quite a urgent need to make up this gap, to reduce this gap between north and south from the infrastructural point of view, because the south of Italy is quite delayed in regards with this issue. And also investments are aimed to improve the urban waste separate collection. We see that some regions are quite virtuous, some they are achieving good results. Luckily, Sardinia is one of these regions, but some of Italian regions, especially in the south, are not reaching their target. So we still have to improve also the separate collection system. As was mentioned before, the resilience plan is not financing landfill, is not financing MBTs, is not financing waste incinerators. So it's just financing recycling plants that can be for organic and for other waste streams like glass, paper, construction, or also innovative installation for particular waste flows. Part of the investment money is going to flagship project. Flagship project we intend to, they are aimed to strengthen separate collection, and they are aimed to recycle particular waste streams in order to reach specific targets on WEEE, 55% of recycling, of cardboard, 85% as target, 65% on plastic waste. So we have some tenders related to what are called plastic apps. And then we have the textile apps that also was mentioned by Piotr, is for sure one of the main issues in the coming years. And we want to reach the target of 100% of recovery in this sector. That's why we are financing flagship project of recycling initiatives of these particular waste streams. There is also a stream of money going to activities related to monitoring system, for example with satellites or drones, to counteract illegal discharges. So we are using artificial intelligence. I want to finance artificial intelligence also to tackle this issue. Sorry, that was... Yes, that were the target, was not projecting the slide. So these are the streams, and these are the target that we want to achieve with this flagship project that are part of the investments within the mission related to circular economy in the resilience plan. There is another mission in the resilience plan, not related to circular economy, but related to energy, renewable energy, that is dedicated to biomethane. So we want to also dedicate a flow of the budget to the maximize of energy recovery from organic residues in order to achieve also the European decarbonization targets. So the actions for biomethane in this mission of renewable energy are aimed to convert and to improve the efficiency of biogas plants that are currently present also in zootechnic and agricultural installations. So we want to convert this biogas installation to produce biomethane. We want to support with 40% of investment new plants for the production of biomethane. We want to spread the practices in biogas production phase, for example with the centralized also treatment of digestate to be used also as a fertilizer, as we mentioned it before. We want to replace vehicles with the biomethane fueled vehicles, and also to improve the efficiency of the heat use and the reduction of emission of the agricultural plants. These are the goals for the part related to biomethane within the mission of renewable energy that has other money beside the 2 billion that I've mentioned before. So far, because the tenders have been already opened to local authorities as beneficiaries, but also to businesses, the ministry has received more than 4,000 applications for a total project value of over 12 billion of euros. So much of the work should be addressed to the assessment criteria to check if the project that has been presented really have the outline of circular initiatives and that can be approved. There are three main areas under which tenders have been issued, mainly related to local authorities. The stream A is aimed to improve and for the mechanization of the collection network for recycling of municipal waste. The stream 2B was aimed to the modernization and also to the construction of new recycling plants of urban waste from separate waste collection. And stream C was mainly aimed to the construction of innovative system for treatment of specific waste streams, like, for example, PAPs, so diapers, or wastewater sludge, as mentioned before, or waste of leather goods and textile waste. So we are going to finance with a specific stream this innovative recycling installation of these specific waste streams. Beside this mission on circular economy, always within the umbrella of the resilience plan, we have another initiative called Transition 4.0 that is financing with the tool of tax credit to businesses projects relating to transforming businesses and according to circular economy principles. So we are using the tax credit to finance initiatives related to sustainable products, industrial symbiosis initiative, recycling technologies, remanufacturing technologies, also product as a service business model, and also monitoring the product life cycle. So if we have new projects from businesses including these criteria, they can get some tax credit according to this Transition 4.0 initiative. As I said before, the resilience plan includes some reforms. The most important one is the National Circular Economy Strategy. Now, there is a mistake. It's not 2002, of course, but it's 2022, June, because this strategy is under consultation phase now. So we are receiving feedback from civil society, from businesses, from authorities, and there will be the final approval of the national circular strategies in June 2022, so in the coming months. And we can identify some priority areas, and also we can go into the details of the measures and actions foreseen within this strategy. As far as the priority areas, the first one is, it's not an order of priority. The first one is eco-design. So we want to push to rely on life cycle thinking when producing new products according to the eco-design, that, you know, it's not anymore just connected to energy. The second area is bioeconomy. Bioeconomy, so it's, of course, it overlaps with circular economy principles when we focus on the valorization of organic matter, organic waste generated by agriculture, generated by industry. So we want to valorize them, for example, to produce new fertilizer, to produce new bio-based chemicals, and also to produce, as mentioned before, biomethane from and biofuels from this agriculture, or also zootechnical residues. Intervention area 3 is blue economy. That it's one of the pillars of the Italian economy, because shipbuilding produces 7 billion euros. You know, of course, the importance of tourism for Italy, producing over 13 billions of euros, and maritime transport, of course, is another asset of Italian economy. So we want to intervene also in this area, and looking also at the reuse, for example, of excavated sediments. When we are excavating sediments from the ports, we can reuse also this material to tackle coastal erosion and to benefit also the tourism and bathing activities. The last area is the one of critical raw materials. So we want to focus also recycling interventions and recycling infrastructure in trying to recover critical raw material that are needed strategically in the process. Which are the measures? Faced by the strategy. One of the points is the waste traceability system. I will tell you more later. GPP is another very important tool that is currently strongly used also in Italy. We are focusing on end-of-waste criteria, and the ministry is, I said before, I mentioned it, 5 national decree, but there are many more under construction, and probably some of them will be issued in a short time. We are focusing on extended producer responsibility, extending to new waste streams. Industrial symbiosis and product design are quite important points as well, like circularity indicators and some also fiscal tools like tax incentives. Industrial symbiosis has been already mentioned, and for sure we want to create some, especially in industrial areas, and to reconvert these areas in eco-parks, eco-industrial districts, where there could be a change of resources, and there could be in some way safe of materials, and a prevention also of waste going to our landfills. And this will be a benefit for our companies that are taking a place in these industrial areas. In Sardinia years ago, but this experience was not very successful, we issued a document related to eco-parks, trying to give money to industries that wanted to be included in these industrial areas in order to share, for example, infrastructure like wastewater treatment or waste management or waste reuse, water reuse. But honestly, it was not so successful. Now they are trying to push again in a view of industrial symbiosis and promote these industrial districts. Which are the advantages of industrial symbiosis and industrial district? Economic advantages, because there is a reduction of costs for procurement of raw material, there is a save of materials, there is a reduction of landfilling costs because there is a save of a reduction of in the waste production. And there will be a new market opportunities. Environmental advantages, of course, because we are landfilling less material and probably also less emissions because we are extracting less material in the end. And social advantages that should be considered as well, because there will be an increase in green jobs and also in the cultural change that is needed to share these circular economy principles. That's why Enea, that is a technology institute in Italy, they build up this platform for industrial symbiosis with the aim to make businesses meet themselves to check which are the opportunities to lay eyes in a view of industrial symbiosis. So to share material, to recover waste, and to share residues. So this platform is aimed to make people meet, make businesses meet, and check which are the concrete possibilities to lay eyes in a view of industrial symbiosis. One of the issue contained in the strategy is extended producer responsibility. Italy is quite well known, I must say, because the EPR schemes are very effective, are very common, quite spread in many waste streams. Of course, the aim now is to develop EPR schemes as also required by the European Commission to other waste streams that are not subject to EPR so far. But what the EPR schemes that are in place now are working pretty well, we must say. Within the strategy, circular economy strategy, a chapter quite important is the one related to education, to communication plan. So we need to have citizen aware, conscious of their choices. So we want to promote with a strong environmental campaign and communication plan which are the principle of circular economy, which is the benefit they can have from labeling, eco-label, for example, recognized labels, and we also want to incentivize and also fiscally repair activities and share products and services. For example, now in In my town, in my municipality, for the first time, you know that we have what we call eco-center. Eco-center are places where citizens can bring their waste in order to be recycled. You can bring your, of course we have door-to-door collection, but if you are, for example, do some maintenance, or you can bring your own waste in this eco-center. This eco-center now, they have a new section that is only for not waste, but used products to be reused. So there will be a new section of this eco-center for products to be reused and not waste. And so you can go there, you can take what you want, what you need, provided that, and you can bring your product, provided that of course are in good condition. They can be reused, or they can be repaired, and they can be put not in the market because they are for free. So it's a place where you want to prevent waste. So there is, of course, this will pass also through a stronger communication campaign. Green public procurement. It was mentioned probably by Piotr before. It will become probably mandatory. In Italy, it's already mandatory. It's already mandatory for public purchasing market to include what we call minimum environmental criteria. We have a legislation in place, so every public purchase should comply with these environmental criteria. And we have 18 decrees on different streams. And for example, this purchase should contain a minimum content of recycled material, or it should reach a target of reduction in waste production, or it should reach a target of reduction in the use of hazardous substances. So these environmental criteria are already in place and mandatory in public purchase. So the green public procurement is very, very it's strong now, but we want to push on that again. So we have so far 18 product categories, and the aim is to, with the strategic circular economy plan, is to accelerate the updating procedure of these environmental criteria, to strengthen the technical capacity of the contracting public authorities, and to encourage, of course, investment of businesses. Training is always an asset, and we should make also public authorities more conscious on that, not only citizens. Another issue of the strategy is traceability of material and traceability of waste. In this respect, we have a database that I have mentioned in my previous presentation for end of waste. So all the end of waste permits should be included in a national database. We also have a national database for the traceability of waste. So that is mainly for the digitalization of the paper documents relating to the management and the transport of waste. And also we have a guidance for environmental labeling and packaging. So these are, we can see that, we can tell that the database for end of waste permit and the database for the waste management and transport, they are in some way the meeting point between digitalization goal and also the need and the circular economy issues. And the benefit is both for public administration in terms of traceability, and is for businesses in terms of simplification and streamlining of procedures. So, to sum up, the strategy under revision now, under consultation phase, includes two main objectives. The general objective A is closing cycles along the value chain of products and materials, and objective B is to use efficiently resources and in urban, industrial and local areas. And we have some actions and some practical actions related to these actions. In actions 1, the In Objective 1, the actions envisaged, embedded in the strategy are the following. We want to support businesses with tools and services in implementing new technologies and new methodologies aimed to circular transition. We want to support industrial symbiosis, also with financial instruments. We want to provide tax incentives to support recycling activities. We want to reform and to enlarge the EPR schemes also to other streams of waste like plastic, textile and bulky. And we want also to have training activities for businesses. As far as Objective B, more or less the strategic circular plan is repeating the goals of the resilience plan in terms of construction of new installation to recycle waste, in terms also of new eco-innovation pilot project for specific waste streams like plastic, like textile. That is what we lack the most. And we also want to focus on agri-food chain and improve the competitiveness of the farms and their performance related to climate change and also to circular economy. Beside the tool that is the second pillar of the strategy, that is the circular economy strategy, national strategy, we have another tool that is the National Waste Management Program. This is not in place yet, but under consultation again. This plan sets the macro objectives. Then these macro objectives should be transposed into the regional waste management plans. You know, Italy has 20 regions, regional government. Each region will have its own regional waste management plan, transposing the overall overarching goals that are set in the national strategy. Which are the main goals of the strategy? Again, reduce the gap in the infrastructure that we have between south and north. Of course, achieve the target set in the directive, but according to the Italian legislation, we also set more strict target to be achieved. And of course, they will be achieved also by means of this national strategy. And we want also to have an eye to climate neutrality in the cycle of waste management. Beside the national strategy of circular economy, beside the resilience plan, beside the national waste management plan, we have other financial tools to support circular economy. One of the tools is support financial measures for research and development projects. These projects should be related, of course, to circular economy. They have to trigger the conversion to a circular economy model. So we are giving financial aids in terms also of non-repayable contributions to initiatives related to industrial symbiosis, waste treatment, system for sanitation of water, and so on. This is another tool, financial tool. Another financial tool is to give a contribution in terms of credit tax to those businesses buying products that contain parts or that are completely recycled. So those businesses purchasing finished products containing at least 75% of their composition from recycled waste, they can obtain a credit tax of 25% or 36% with another line of contribution. And there is a line of contribution also for the textile sectors, for the initiative related to the, in particular to the textile sector. Other initiatives to support circular economy are the ones related to legislation. So first of all, we have implemented the single-use plastic directive into our legislation. Unfortunately, we had to postpone because there was no political agreement, and was postponed to 2023. The fee of plastic used for packaging, for single-use packaging. We have, as I mentioned, end-of-waste decrease already in place, and many others will be issued in the coming years. Probably this year we will have the one related to construction and demolition waste. And there are also return with deposit systems for the reuse of packaging. I think that's it. This is a quick overview of the strategy of Italy towards circular economy.
Thank you very much, Romano. Really impressive presentation, really comprehensive work on the strategy for circular economy of Italy. I would like now to open the floor for questions. Yes, Piotr.
It's not really for me to ask questions, but maybe I trigger one question on your last point: recycled content. No, it will incentivize some tax rebates and so on. So it's very important to calculate it. And the question is, so recycled content is calculated when post-consumer waste is used, so after waste, and then recycling, or post-production waste, which is waste which are scraps from production processes. Those scraps are usually clean and and they're there. So how is it? Do you know? And do you have a preference which of the material should be used?
I don't know. I will be arranged. It probably is too early to say because it's just an overarching strategy. I think much will depends also on how the eco-design will be pushed and designed in the strategy. What I prefer is to have also material from the beginning to include some recovery material, recycled materials, and so to have products that from the beginning they already include some recycled material that could be recycled maybe again at the end of the life. That will be a percentage. I'm curious to say also to check how this percentage of 36% or 75% is calculated.
Merhabalar. Sunum için teşekkür ederim öncelikle. Bu malzemelerde geri dönüştürülmüş, üretimde geri dönüştürülmüş malzeme kullanımı ile ilgili özellikle gıda ambalajlarında geri dönüştürülmüş malzeme kullanımına ilişkin bir çalışmanız var mı? Son zamanlarda yani bizim ülkemizde mesela bununla ilgili mevzuatta zaten yer verdik fakat son zamanlarda bazı çalışmalar var. Ne kadar teknoloji uygun olsa da gıda ürünlerinde geri dönüştürülmüş malzeme ambalajında geri dönüştürülmüş malzeme kullanımında uzun süreçli sağlıkla ilgili sorunlar olabileceğine dair belli başlı şu an medyada gündeme gelen bazı hususlar var. Hani buna ilişkin sizin yaptığınız çalışmalar var mı veya herhangi bir politika elinizde?
There is nothing in place in this moment, as far as I know. There was a strong debate on that. Probably also some studies from NEA, that is our technological institute. Honestly, I don't know that for sure. In this moment, there is, as far as I know, no policy in place to reduce this packaging from food. But I remember it was a strong discussion probably last year and 2 years ago when we were also discussing about EPR schemes on packaging also.
I have also a question. You mentioned that there is the quite substantial chapter strategy on support to the businesses, the business sector, with tools. Can you please elaborate what type of tools are deployed to support the businesses for circularity within the strategy? And also the transition 4.0, the tax incentives. If you can provide some more details, how does this work in practice?
In practice, it's quite hard to say because the strategy is mainly setting overarching goals. It's not going into the detail of the tools that will be used. There are some tools that are now in place that are not related to the circular economy strategy under consultation, but there are other tools already in place that works in the form of, for example, as I mentioned it, tax credit, so save some money from the taxes, or a certain percentage of investment that should not be refunded. So there are for businesses, I mentioned it, 40% I think of funded that is not to be refunded, that was for free for particular initiative related to circular economy, recycling technologies in particular, or there were some related to also research and development. These are in this moment the two main tools. Tax credit above all. It's not enough, and there's not so big budget on that. There will be a big budget with the resilience plan. And some of the tenders are already for the businesses. Most of them are for public authorities, so the beneficiaries public authorities, but some streams are for businesses. And so those money, of course, is in the tender from the resilience plan.